Everybody knows that really good deals are hard to find, but what's even more frustrating is having to submit a million different things to figure out if that deal is actually even a good deal in the first place. So that's exactly why for the past 3 to 4 months, I've been working on the Capital Kings website to make it a place where not only investors can see the numbers on their deals super quickly, but also realtors and wholesalers. I wanted to make it a place to where realtors can evaluate deals super quickly, can see the numbers that they need to see without having to submit 100 different addresses in 100 different places. Of course, I'm over exaggerating, but my goal is to make it super simple for realtors to see the numbers on the deal, see if their buyer even qualifies for it, and see what's actually required to get the deal closed and funded. So the first thing that I want to show you guys how to do is how you can log into the Realtor/wholesaler portal and create your account. So what you're going to want to do is come here to capitalkings.co and scroll down to the bottom of the page. You can also click up here and then just click on get started. And then when you're at the bottom, you're going to see Realtor/wholesaler portal right here. And then once you're here, this is where you can sign in, but you can also just go ahead and create a new account. Let me know if you're a realtor, a wholesaler, and then I'm going to go ahead and make an account right here. And then at the bottom, you're going to want to remember your 4-digit PIN, because this is what you're going to use to actually sign back into the Realtor/wholesaler portal. And so I'm going to go ahead and sign up here. And as you can see, you're going to be greeted with your partner portal. It's going to show you a few things that you can actually do once you sign up. The first thing that I want to show you guys how to do is how you can create an opportunity, which will allow you to get an instant term sheet and also allow you to see instant numbers on a property. So all you have to do is come up here and click new opportunity and then start typing in the property address. And I do have Google API linked to this, so it'll pull in property addresses super easy. And then you're going to want to let me know if it's a fix and flip, a ground up construction, a DSCR loan, and then select the closing timeline. So on this one, we'll just do basic numbers: a $200,000 purchase price, a $50,000 rehab budget, and then we'll go with like a 360 ARV. If you have a borrower on the deal, you can type in the borrower name right here, and you can also type in some more specific information on the borrower. This will adjust the term sheet, so depending on the borrower's experience and their credit score, it will adjust the terms on the term sheet. Right now, we're just not going to input anything. We're going to click Save Opportunity, and it'll let you know at the bottom that you did save that opportunity. The cool thing is that it's going to instantly start generating a term sheet on this, and then once that term sheet is actually done, it's going to pop up at the top and let you know that it's generated. So I'm going to go ahead and click View on that. And so this is the instant term sheet that I just got. All I had to do is just type in 3 numbers: the property address, or I guess 4 numbers: the property address, the purchase price, the rehab budget, and the after repaired value. And we got an instant term sheet. This is the property that we just now submit. It's over here on the left in the working column. And basically how I've built this out to work is whenever you're running numbers on a deal, or whenever you're initially submitting an opportunity, it's going to first show up in this working column. And I'm not going to see that deal in my pipeline until you actually just click right here and slide this over to submit to Capital Kings. So as you can see, when you do that, it's going to go ahead and move it to initial underwriting, which is going to show in my initial underwriting pipeline, which looks pretty much exactly like this. And once you submit it in initial underwriting, you're not going to be able to move it, because from this point on, I'm going to be the one moving it across this pipeline all the way till closed won. Once you actually click into an opportunity, you're going to see a lot of information in here. Of course, you're going to be able to see that instant term sheet that you just generated, but you're also going to see this deal analyzer, which is super cool. It's going to auto-populate the taxes, the utilities, some other miscellaneous holding cost. Of course, you can adjust any of these numbers, but this is awesome at evaluating the deal, seeing where your monthly interest is going. So the borrower also sees this deal analyzer, so they can see how much they're paying towards taxes, towards insurance, towards utilities, everything like that. And as you scroll down, it's going to show you where the deal's current loan to value is at. So this left number right here, this is where our current loan to value is at versus the max loan to value right here. So this is really good at showing you how much equity is on the deal. And of course, once you hit that 75% number, that is when the investor starts having to bring more cash to close. So if you're under that number, then you have more equity, and the higher and closer you are to that 75% number, the tighter the numbers on the deal are going to be. Another cool thing that I want to mention is that on every single term sheet and on every single deal analyzer, I am automatically factoring in a $5,000 realtor commission. So because most of my business does come from realtors, I would say about 70% of my business does. I automatically include that $5,000 realtor commission, and then I also include the $5,000 EMD fee, because typically to get a deal under contract, you send that $5,000 EMD. And then under the EMD credit, you have the proof of funds right here. So this is going to show you the total proof of funds that the borrower needs to show in liquidity. Of course, this is not what they need at closing. The total cash to close number right here is what they will be bringing on the day to closing. So this is what they will wire to the title company or bring as like a cashier's check to the day of closing. Another really cool thing that the deal analyzer does is it shows a month-by-month profit breakdown. So this shows how much profit the investor will be making if they sell at month 2, if they sell at month 3, if they sell at month 4, and etc., etc. I would say the typical closing timeline after a borrower enters a hard money loan is probably between 5 to 6 months. But a good statistic that I always look at on these is looking at the profit at month 12. If the deal is still profitable or break even by month 12, it's probably a pretty good deal and you have a lot of equity built into it. As you can see, this deal is still making $65,000 at month 12, so it's still very profitable. It's still a great deal. And even if you go 24 months out, you can still see that this deal is still break even and making profit even 24 months out. So this is a great deal. Feel free to keep exploring the deal analyzer. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to Capital Kings Intelligence because there's a lot of features here that I wanna show you guys and I think will be very, very useful. Just using the property address, once you submit the opportunity, it's going to instantly bring in the property type, the interior square foot, the lot size, the bed bath count, and everything is being sourced in from Atom Data Solutions, which is something that I pay yearly for. As you can see, there's a lot of information that you're instantly getting. You're able to see the current owner, the assessed value, the annual taxes on it, and you can also scroll through and see the ownership history. So you can see when it was sold and what lender it was sold through, everything like that. And it's super cool because this is actually just pulled from public information. So you can see if there was ever any permits done on that property and it'll show you what was done. For example, you can see in 2008, there was an install of a water heater. There are some other building permits here back in 1995. You can also see the median sell price over the past 4 to 5 years in that market. 2026 is a pretty good year. It's at 1 million. And in 2025 and the previous 3 years before that, it was at like 850, and in 2023 is at 806. So this gives you some good insights on where the market is currently at. Of course, you're still going to have access to the MLS, so you're still going to want to run your comps, but there is another cool feature that I've brought in here, and it's just sale comps. This is also in the borrower portal as well. So most of these comps are just sourcing from public available information. So this is like using Zillow, HAR, stuff like that, all the publicly available properties. So you're not going to want to run your official CMA through here. However, it can give you a good just average median sale price. It can also give you an average price per square foot and everything like that. On the third valuation tab, you are going to get an AVM. So this is going to just pull in the median comps and then tell you what it thinks the as-is market value is for that property on average. And then it's also pulling in rent comps from the area and just giving you the average from that as well. And in the map, it's pretty cool because it has a breakdown of those comps. And so you can scroll through here, click on those comps, see them, look at the address, see the bed bath count, everything like that. This is not supposed to replace your MLS subscription. This is supposed to just be in addition to it. I just turned on everything that the overlays has to offer here. So as you can see, I turned the parcel on, so it'll tell us where our lot parcel is at. And as you scroll out, I also have the schools on, so it's going to show you not only some local schools in the area, but also just some local businesses that you can look at. And then let me make sure the schools is on. Yep, you can see the schools here. So it's going to show you the rating of the school, and then it's also going to show you what elementary school it is or what kind of school it is. As you can see here as well, under Capital Kings Intelligence, it's going to let you know that I am currently running comps on this property. So once you submit it to me, I'll run comps on the property. You'll see this. You can actually submit any feedback that you have to me, or you can adjust any PDFs or anything like that that you want to attach here, and then I'll be able to see that on my end. And then once I send my comps out and send my valuation back to the borrower and to you, you'll actually see that updated right here, and you'll be able to see my CMA and everything like that. The next thing that I want to show you guys is the document section. So the documents section is going to show you any term sheets that you previously generated, so you can actually click view on any of those term sheets. You can also access that from the details page just by scrolling down and looking at it over here on the right. But that's also visible up here in the deal documents section. And then down here, you can upload property documents. You cannot see all documents. For example, if a borrower uploads bank statements or if they upload LLC documents, you cannot see those documents, but you can see the property contract and you can see the rehab budget and a few other documents like that that are not personal and sensitive information. So the documents tab is super good if you already have a property contract that you want to just go ahead and upload. The wholesaler can also view the property contract and they can also upload the property contract right here. So it makes it super easy to just have one streamlined place so that everybody can upload documents and everybody can see which documents are currently required or which documents are currently needed on that deal. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the conditions tab. This tab is pretty self-explanatory, but this is actually one of my favorite features of the CRM. This is available in all portals, so the borrower sees this exact same conditions tab. I also see pretty much this exact same conditions tab. So what's super cool with the conditions tab is it can be updated both ways. As you can see, when the realtor updates it, it's gonna let you know right there. And then when I update anything, because obviously I'm gonna be updating this periodically throughout the closing process as things are updated, right? So as things are marked off, as we have what we need, I'll go ahead and mark that off on my side, so you'll see this get more and more complete as we get closer to the closing day. Let's say the appraisal is ordered, for example. We'll be able to set the due date for that appraisal, and so we can see exactly when that's coming back, and we can see that we are waiting on the appraiser here, and you can update any of that information. So if you're waiting on the appraiser and the appraisal is ordered, you can see exactly what day it's coming back. And then once we get that appraisal in, we can go ahead and upload that appraisal right here so that the borrower, the realtor, the wholesaler, everybody involved in the transaction can see that appraisal in case they need it. So the next thing is going to be this activity timeline. This is where you're going to see all the notes on the transaction. You're going to be able to set new tasks. So if you have something that you need to do, if you need to call the borrower or whatever you might need to do, you can go ahead and put that right here. I had a typo, but that's okay. And you can save that task and you'll have that task assigned to you right here. You'll also be able to see that from the tasks. And so there's so many cool things that you can do here. And you'll also be able to see any activity that's going on with the deal as it happens. So if there's a term sheet that's generated, you'll be able to see that term sheet, view it from this activity timeline. You'll be able to set any notes that you want to remember about. So if there's any information on the deal that you don't want to forget, you want to remember it, you can easily type that in here. And you can also see the pipeline status as they move. And if you want to come back and check the activity for whatever reason, if you want to see when something moved or when something was ordered, you can do all of that through the activity timeline right here. A little bit of background on me and why I actually started building out Capital Kings and why it's kind of like a mini CRM platform, because there are a lot of tools that you have access to, and it's more than just the opportunities. And the gist of it is I am a Salesforce certified professional. For those who are not familiar, Salesforce is one of the #1 CRM platforms in the world. It's one of the largest ones. And from 2023 to 2024, I worked in the Salesforce industry for about a year. I have 2 certifications. And so I learned a lot about CRM platforms. I learned a lot about how they function, how they operate. And I also learned the things that I really, really love about Salesforce. And I basically took those features that I love from Salesforce and I implemented them here and made this my full-time CRM platform, because frankly, there was some things that I wasn't able to do with Salesforce, that being creating this realtor portal, that being creating this borrower portal. And so when I was about 2 months into coding this website, I decided that I wanted to actually make this my full-time CRM and just completely cancel Salesforce and use this to scale my business. And as I scale my business with the CRM platform, I would offer realtors and investors and wholesalers the same exact tools that I'm using to scale my business. So that's basically the thought process behind the CRM platform. I'm not selling it to make money. This is supposed to just make the process easy for investors, easy for realtors to get deals submitted, and to give them access to a lot of other tools that I also have available. So if you are a realtor or a wholesaler, I would love to have you on the platform. I'm gonna put the sign up link in the description. It is still in beta development, so if you run across any glitches, feel free to reach out to my personal number. I'm also gonna put it in the description, and I look forward to working with you soon. Let me know if you have any suggestions for features that should be implemented, or if you have any suggestions for changes that I should make to the CRM. Thank you so much.